business channel in East Africa. Now, we've been talking about the stock market, and the beauty of this is that it keeps changing. You don't have a fixed performance every single day. You have companies performing better, companies sometimes performing badly, and all these provide opportunities, whether companies are doing good or not. It is an opportunity in some way for you and I as investors. And most investors that, of course, have invested for a very long time have come to learn the fact that whenever stock markets are doing very bad, that is the time to even become much more aggressive, that is in buying more stock, because it means that we've hit rock bottom, so there's no other place to go but up. And so that's when people should actually get more interested in the stock market. Now, the Uganda Stock Exchange was incorporated in 1997 as a company limited by guarantee without share capital. And the company, of course, was established under the Uganda's government policy of transforming the country's economy from a public one, and of course to see that we transform some of the government bodies into private entities, or we make them public. And this, of course, led to the creation of the Capital Markets Authority, of course, prior to the exchange, which is the regulator in the space of the capital markets. And the Uganda Securities Exchange has since then been offering an organized market where buyers and sellers of securities meet as dealers, maybe securities brokers, to represent them in order to acquire or to be able to sell some of their equity or their stocks and shares, as well as bonds. Now, like I said, the bonds, you're looking at just loans that are transferable, that are given to government, transferable or tradable debt. That is simply, when we talk about bonds, that's what we are referring to, tradable or transferable debt that can be transferred from one person to another. And in particular, when you look at the treasury bonds, you're looking at those loans specifically going to government. Now, as an alternative source of investment capital for small and large enterprises, the Uganda Securities Exchange represents a link between the companies that need capital and the investors, allowing the investors to be able to become part owners of the companies. In October 2003, the Uganda Securities Exchange launched the All Share Index, the USE All Share Index, a market-weighted average index comprising of all the listed companies on the bourse. And when you look at this, it backdates over 100 points on the 1st of December, on the 31st of December in the year 2000. In addition, the All Share Index, USE, the USE publishes also in addition to the All Share Index on the USE, we also have a local company index. And when we talk about the indices, these are particularly average performance trackers. And you look at tracking performance of the overall stock, looking at all the listed companies. If you don't want to look at the details, the nitty-gritties of each company, you just have a look at the index, and this will give you a picture of what's currently happening. Now, we have a local company index that looks at the companies that are locally or domestically listed, and this was also brought into light in the year 2003. Now, in July 2015, the Uganda Securities Exchange implemented an automated trading system, a computerized based trading application set up to automatically buy and sell securities. And this, of course, comes along with the new central depository system that is, of course, looking at improving liquidity and trade efficiency by reducing the settlement time from 5 days to just 3 days. And so all this has happened on the stock exchange. We have seen the stock exchange come from the open outcry system. That was a traditional way of trading where you find people in yellow, red jackets at the trading floor, and people were screaming all over the place, and now to an entirely online trading system. You just approach the stockbroker and they will settle the trade for you within 3 days. You will have your stock on your account. And also the central depository system. This is a system that has enabled all our shares, all our securities to be in one place. And just like a bank account, this is just an account that stores stock or other securities. And so it is also contributed very, very much to the improvement in liquidity and efficiency at the stock exchange back in 2015 as well. And so with this, of course, I hope it has given you some light onto what we are doing right now. And so what we do here every day is to look at the performance of each specific company and get to see the details of that performance and get to predict whether this company will also make some good money within the future. And we give you some opportunities to see deeper within the exchange and see which companies are top notch, which companies can I actually eye if I'm a beginner, if I'm starting my investment journey. What are the most active stocks? What are the most tradable stocks? Who has the biggest capitalization, and so on and so forth. And definitely we are now going to slide right into this. Now, in the aggregate, last Friday, we had about 3 Uganda Securities Exchange listed equities participate in trading out of the 18 listed companies. And we ended the day with 6 gainers and just 3 losers. A fairly good performance, I have to say. Although still the activity wasn't that much, but at least with the 6 gainers and just 3 losers, there was a fairly good show that was put up. Now, Centum Investments led the gainers with a 4.76% share price appreciation, closing at 318.99 Ugandan shillings. Centum is cross-listed from Nairobi Securities Exchange, and so if you want to invest in Centum right now, the opening price is definitely 318.99 Ugandan shillings. Centum was followed closely by Stanbic Bank Uganda, who came with a 1.7% appreciation. And we also had MTN Uganda, who came at a 1.53% price appreciation, and KCB Group at 1.25% price appreciation. Those were some of the top gainers. On the losing side, we had East African Breweries come out last with an end-of-day price depreciation of over 1.85% to close the day at 4,887.96 Ugandan shillings per share. East African Breweries Limited was followed by Nation Media, Nation Media Group at a 1.57% decline in price, and then Equity Bank at a 0.95% decline in the price. And you can see the prices there on your screen for the respective losers and gainers on the market. Umeme Uganda Limited recorded the highest volume at over 187,400 traded shares, followed by Stanbic at over 32,000 shares, and MTN Uganda at about 4,650. Now you can see some other stocks that actually also had some good. They were not active on that particular day, but they had some trading. National Insurance Corporation at 5.8 Ugandan shillings, Nation Media Group was a loser at 572.91 closing price. New Vision Printing and Publishing Company at 155, no traded volumes and no shift in prices. Stanbic Bank Uganda went up by just 0.35 Ugandan shillings to close at 20.62 Ugandan shillings. Uganda Clays had no trade and there was no change in price. And then Wumeme was the top mover with a total volume of over 187,400 shares that was traded yesterday, on Friday. And then Jubilee Holdings Limited at 7,784.24 recorded a gain of 12.84 Ugandan shillings. Those are what we can say were the gainers and some of the losers. But there were several other stocks that are listed. You can find British American Tobacco, Uganda, much as they haven't traded in a very long time, at 15,000. Then Bank of Baroda, Uganda, at 85 Ugandan shillings. And then Centum Investments Company at 318.99 Ugandan shillings. Whereas Cipla Quality Chemical Industries at 70.0 Ugandan shillings. DFCU Bank at 547.0 Ugandan shillings. And Equity Bank Limited at 1,550.50. And a couple of others like Kenya Airways at 121.56. By the way, Kenya also was another gainer who gained by 0.07 Ugandan shillings. We also have Nation Insurance Company, like I've already mentioned, Insurance Corporation at 5.8 Ugandan shillings, like mentioned before on the program. Now, let's have a look at the top gainer here, Centum Investment Company, in details a little bit. Now, Centum Investment has been listed on the exchange since 2011 on the 10th of February. They are currently the 13th most valuable stock on the Uganda Securities Exchange with a total capitalization of over 212 billion Ugandan shillings. When we talk about the capitalization, we look at how many shares are outstanding for this company and multiply by the current share price. So when we look at their shares outstanding, they have a total of over 665 million shares outstanding. And when we multiply this by 318, their current price, we have a total of over 212 billion Ugandan shillings that are listed on the stock exchange. Now, the company has, because of this 212 billion shillings, it makes about 0.0952% of the entire market capitalization of the Uganda Securities Exchange. And yesterday, they went up by 14.48 Ugandan shillings to close the day at 318.99 Ugandan shillings, which was a 4.76% appreciation in price. Moving down to their weekly performance, when we monitor their weekly performance and their daily earnings, closing yesterday at 308.81 on the Uganda Securities Exchange. They recorded a 1.9% gain over the previous closing price, which was 302.99. And however, the company began the year with the price of 444.82 Ugandan shillings and has since lost over 28.3% of their price valuation on the Uganda Securities Exchange, ranking it the 15th in terms of year-to-date performance on the Uganda Securities Exchange out of the 18 listed companies. Now, when we look at their traded volumes, they're currently the 8th most traded stock within the last 3 months, that is from the 3rd of June to the 9th of September 2022. And within this period, they have recorded over 109,200 shares that are valued at currently 31.7 million shares over the period, with an average of 1,733 traded shares per session and a volume high of just 100,000, which was achieved on the 19th of July within this same period. When you look at the table of activity, they had some stock on the 11th of August, over 7,800 shares. They also had some stock on the 8th of August. That was about 1,200 shares. They had another stock on the 9th of July. That's at 100,200 shares on the 20th of June. Now, when you look at Centum, now compared to many other cross-listed companies, especially from Kenya, the company is doing good. They are doing not so good, but they're doing much better than many cross-listed companies. Looking at their traded volumes, you will not find these volumes in equity, which is actually the most valuable company on the exchange. It has a total capitalization of over 5 point something trillion, over 5 trillion Ugandan shillings, but you won't find this much activity. And also the company, when you look at 1 week performance, it has gained over 5.5% on their weekly performance, that's in terms of their price, and a 3.3% gain still on their monthly performance, and 5.75% on their 3 months performance. So meaning we have hope in Centum. So if you're out there and you're looking for some stock on the Uganda Securities Exchange and that is cross-listed, look out for Centum. And I think it's also not doing very bad on Nairobi Securities Exchange. So we can look forward to even much better activity within the recent, within few days, in the few days to come. So you can buy yourself this stock. The closing price was 308, and so you can still start with that price today. The market is open. It's exactly just about 2 hours of trading so far. So you can get in touch with your stockbroker and see that you get some stock on the Centum Investments Company Limited. Away from Centum, let's have a look at Stanbic Bank Uganda. Stanbic Bank Uganda was another gainer, as you can see among us, the 4 gainers there, the 4 top gainers. Stanbic gained by just 1.7%, closing the day with a price of 20.97 after having gained 1.7% from the previous closing price of 20.62 to the current price, or the closing price last Friday, of 20.97. However, Stanbic Bank Uganda began the year with a price of 26, but has since lost over 19.4% of their price valuation, ranking it the 12th in terms of year-to-date performance. And so when you look at the Stanbic Bank Uganda stock, because of the small prices, every slight change can drive the percentage crazy. You're looking at a they're saying a 19.4% loss on their year-to-date, on their actually year-to-date performance, yes. And they are ranked number 12. But when you look at now their trading, they are quite a very active stock on the stock market. And within the last 3 or so months, they are the second most traded, coming only after Bank of Baroda, which had a very huge volume traded on a single day that pushed it within the first position, to the first position. But Stanbic, you can see it has a fair amount of shares that are bought and sold on every single day of trading, at least, or at least within 2 days of trading. Stanbic Bank Uganda's stocks that has been traded within this period is currently valued at 497 million Ugandan shillings, and currently within this period they have traded over 23.7 million shares within the Stanbic Bank Uganda stock, and they have had an average of about 350 and 75,894 traded shares per session on average within this period as well. And the volume high of over 10.2 million, which was achieved on the 8th of August within the same period. So meaning Stanbic Bank Uganda really stands very high chances of adding value to you. First of all, their stock is very affordable, so you're not looking at getting to invest a lot of money. With 20,000, you have over 1,000 shares. With 200,000, you have over 10,000 shares, and so on. And you're looking at also their market capitalization, which is quite huge. They have a total market capitalization of about 1.07 trillion Ugandan shillings. And when you look at this market capitalization, currently it puts the company within the 5th most valuable stock. And so it's still coming in a very good position there in terms of the amounts of the capitalization, yet it has a very small price. Of course, this can be explained by their floated shares. They have a total of 51.2 billion shares that are outstanding, and currently, like I've said, they are the 5th most valuable stock on the Uganda Securities Exchange. Stanbic has been listed since 2007, which is still a very old stock. You can see over 15 years of experience on the stock market, and so you have an opportunity to get to invest within Stanbic Bank Uganda. Really, you don't have to go anywhere to work on Stanbic Bank. You just have to get in touch with your stockbroker. First of all, open an SCD account, and then get in touch with your stockbroker and get to buy some stock on Stanbic Bank Uganda. The price for Stanbic fell around the month of June very drastically because during this period, of course, investors were highly waiting for a dividend, which did not come on time, I have to say. And because in the last 2 years, there was a ban on banks to, of course, issue dividends by Bank of Uganda. This ban or suspension of issuance was due to Bank of Uganda's strategy to see that companies can be able to maintain their activity, economic activity, and be able to reserve some capital within the uncertain times of the pandemic, and also inflation and many other factors that could have harmed the banking sector. So because of this, many investors really had pulled out, and so that explains that very sharp decline that we saw on the stock of Stanbic Bank Uganda. Otherwise, right now the opening price is 20.62. Open yourself an SCD account. It is absolutely free of charge. All you have to do is grab your phone, if you're an MTN subscriber, of course, and dial *165#, and then choose option number 5, that is financial services, and then followed by option number 7, which is where you will find the Uganda Securities Exchange. And you will be asked for some details, just a few details for your personal identification, and definitely you have your account opened for you. There you have it. We are going to take another quick breather. When we return, we look at MTN and other stocks that performed on the Uganda Securities Exchange. Stay with us. We'll be right back.